Alright folks, I bought some red wiggler worms and I'm going to start another worm bin. I've done this in the past and I'm going to get back into it here with this. So I bought these worms from Green Greg's and this is how he ships them out. They should have got here in about 2 days. 2-day priority mail. Great shipping. This looks like it's well packaged, so let's open it up and see how the worms look. And here's how they're packaged inside of the box. They're just inside of this bag, sealed up with a little duct tape. That's fine. As long as they're alive and they look good, I'm happy. And along with that, a thank you letter. Thank you for your order. And also a free guide to raising red worms. Hand signed by Greg Allison, Green Greg's Garden. So, his guide to raising red worms, I think, is about 9 or 10 pages long. So I'm going to take a look through that after I get this set up. Because I'm always looking for new information. There's good stuff out there. You just have to look for it. Alright, so let's open up this bag and see how the red wigglers are. Alright, my order was for, I think, 2,200 worms or something like that. And there's a lot of worms in here. And they look good. I'm happy. I'm happy with this order. This is great service. This is, these worms arrived in great condition. They don't look dried out or dehydrated. They look really good. It's not warm where I'm at. I think the high temperature today was about 35. And these were left on my back porch by the mailman. And they were packed well, so these guys look great. Alright, so now let's get over and let's put together the little worm bin that I'm going to start these guys off in. I think I'm going to use a kitty litter bucket. That should be good for a little while. Here's what I'm using, a kitty litter bucket. Okay, and in here I just have shredded paper and some coconut coir. And I'm going to get this moist, not wet. I just want it to be moist. I'm going to add water, mix it up by hand, integrate these two things together. No big deal. I just don't want it to be dry, and I don't want it to be wet. My goal is to just have it so when I squeeze it tight, it'll kind of stick together, but no water will drip out. Okay, so off camera, I'm just going to add the water and get this together, and I'll show you what that'll look like when I come back. Okay, now I have this wet down, so it's just a little bit moist. You can see that the coconut coir and the paper, they're not soaking wet. They're not dry. They're just moist. It still falls apart. It has a good consistency. Worms will be able to dig through there. In the past, when I've started these worm bins, actually I didn't even use anything else besides paper. Just shredded paper. And get that a little bit wet. Add the worms and add a little bit of food. So that's what we're going to do right now. And very simply, I'm just going to take this bag of worms and I'm just going to dump it in here. Now this has some medium here, not just all worms. I'm not sure what it is. It feels like it's coconut coir. The lighting may not be good right here. I'm in my basement by the utility sink, and I only have one light right above. Okay, so here's what the worms, look at those guys. That's so exciting. I'm not sure what this is, if it's soil. It feels like it's a coconut coir. It's very fluffy. Good stuff for the worms. The consistency of what I am putting them in for this worm bin is about the same of what Green Greg has his worms packed in. So I'm happy about that. Now I'm just gonna take and shovel these guys on in here. My goodness, I'm happy about that. Who else gets excited about worms like this? I don't know what's wrong with me, but I just think this is just a great way to compost and have a happy, healthy garden. I'll use the vermicompost in my garden, make compost tea with it, or add it straight into the garden beds around my plants. And I gotta tell you, they love it. I mean, they thrive. I don't use any Miracle-Gro or any other fertilizers besides this. There we go. In you go, guys. In you go. And I'm just going to take this bag and flip it over. Let me make sure. Oops, still coming down. There they are. They're in their new home. And now I have a bowl of food that I'm going to add to here. I'm just going to dump it on the top. Maybe I'll mix these things up just a little bit. I don't want to be too rough with them or too aggressive yet. And let them find their own way. They'll be fine. Here's what I'm giving them for their first meal here in their new home. I have some cantaloupe peels, strawberry tops, coffee grounds. I think I chopped up 1 or 2 banana peels and the stump from some broccoli. You know, the thick stems at the end. So that's what I'm going to give them, and I probably won't feed them for a little while after that. That almost seems like it may be too much, but I'm not going to add anything to this for a while. So I'll just lay that on the top, cover it a little bit. And now really it's up to the worms. I'm going to let them do their thing. And they should be just fine. Now once this bin gets to be maybe 2/3 or 3/4 full, I'm going to add another cat litter bucket on top with holes drilled in the bottom. And the idea there is that these worms are going to migrate up into the upper bucket in search of food. One of the hard things with worm farming is separating the castings from the worms. It takes a little bit of time. That's about the hardest part. Otherwise, this is the most work that you're going to do with your worm bin. You add a little bit of food, check the moisture. Every now and then, make sure you aren't soaking wet. And you're good to go. These guys are going to be happy. They're going to multiply quickly. And I'll have some nice vermicompost to add to the garden this summer. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Thank you, Green Greg. I'm really happy with my purchase. And you come highly recommended, buddy. Well done. All right, signing out.